Hello, welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about some freaking fantasy subgenres. I came up with this, thought of this idea. I'm sure I didn't come up with it. Probably other people have done it. But I was looking up information on like the fantasy subgenres by content versus by tone in a video, which I don't know if it's up already, but that'll be up if it's not. If it is, I'll put it in the thing if I remember. I always say I'm gonna do that and then I fucking forget when I actually upload the fucking video. But anyways, I was like, hey, why don't I do a tier ranking of fantasy subgenres? So that's what I'm fucking doing. And this took me a little while this morning to get these images because I didn't want to use specific books because number one, we know that one book can contain various subgenres. And some of these are genres that I haven't read much of, so I don't even know that many like book examples. So then I was like, well, I just want images though, and I didn't want it just to be text. So I went and I looked up a bunch of like desktop backgrounds that would fit these subgenres. So that took me a while, and then in Canva, I was putting the fucking text over it and like trying to, it was just the thing, but I did it, and here we are. So there's, I think, 18 different subgenres. I found a list, which will be linked in that video, of like a whole shit ton of fantasy subgenres by content and by tone, but there's a whole bunch of them. But some of them were so overlapping with other ones that I was like, I'm not gonna include that. And some of them are so like niche. There's one that like I had never even fucking heard of this word before, so I kind of went with like the more prominent ones. And my tiers that I have, the top tier is give me all of it. Just, I hear this and I'm like, yep, sign me the fuck up, I'm down. And then the next tier is hell yeah, which Jenna Marbles, if you like Jenna Marbles, you'll know what that is. She says hell yeah all the time, but she says it like that, hell yeah. And that's how I spell it. I use this in Slack. I had a whole conversation with my coworkers about how to spell hell yeah. And that's what we came up with. And then the middle is, it's cool, I guess. Like, it's cool. I don't care that much. And then below that we have meh. Like, that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know. Probably a lot of stuff that I don't really pick up will be in this. And then, super not my jam. Again, a lot of things that I probably haven't picked up. I probably haven't picked up because it just it doesn't intrigue me. So I anticipate a lot of those will be there. But let's get fucking recording. So first up, we have alternate history. And I quite like that. It's like a, reimagining of history. I'm thinking the one that comes to mind is And I Darken, which I love. And I like historical fiction in general. So when you give me a book that's sort of fantastical and it's just an alternate history, I like that. So but do it give me all of it? Yeah, kinda. I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna say hell yeah. We'll say hell yeah. Because I don't feel like impassioned necessarily when I think of alternate history fan. Next up is anthropomorphic fantasy. And this is like Redwall or things like that where you have animals that are like walking around talking. And that is for that I'm gonna say super not my jam. Because I think when I was a kid, that was a lot of fun. And okay, I say this, but then you guys, how many times have I fucking said any book that has talking cats? I'm like, sign me the fuck up. So I guess I kind of like it. But I kind of just like it when it's cats. And like the books that I'm referencing in that are like The Aeronaut's Windlass, Monstrous. It's ones where like there are humans and whatever, and maybe other creatures too, like supernatural creatures. But then it's like there are also just like talking cats. It's not like the whole world is all talking animals. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say middle of the road for this because my like enjoyment of it is like pretty specific. Arthurian fantasy. I'm gonna go with hell yeah. I haven't read a shit ton of this, so I can't really say give me all of it. well, can I? Because, like, if I hear that, I'm like, hell yeah, sign me the fuck up. Kind of want to say give me all of it. I just haven't read a lot of it. I want to. So yeah, give me all of it. Because that's what this is about. This is about, like, my desire to read these subgenres, not necessarily how much I've read of it. So yeah, give me all. I really do. When I hear that it's Arthurian, legend, fantasy, or whatever, I'm like, yeah. Assassin fantasy. Give me all of it. I fucking love it. Oh my god. The background I picked for this, I tried to find one with, like, a person that was like an assassin, but it just kept coming up with Assassin's Creed images. I was like, I don't want to use that. Yeah, I love assassin shit. I don't fucking care. Sign me up. I don't care if it's overdone. It's not. I don't think it's overdone because I want more of it. Coming of age fantasy. The book that comes to mind immediately for me for this is the fucking Assassin's Apprentice. And that, I would say, like, super not my jam. But then you have, like, Harry Potter, which, I mean, I DNF'd the series, but so maybe it is super not my jam. Yeah, I feel like, what are some other examples that I can think of? Daughter of the Forest was kind of that, though, and I did like that. I'm gonna go with meh. Like, I'm not against it. I'll pick it up sometimes. But yeah, very meh. Dying Earth fantasy. This is one that I have not read a shit ton of, but I'm not opposed to it either. I'm thinking of N.K. Jemisin, the 5th season. Definitely a Dying Earth fantasy subgenre, and other things too, but for sure that. And, like, Mistborn, which I didn't like. I didn't like the 5th season either, but that's one that I want to reread. Because I've heard people say that on their first read of it, they didn't like it, but then when they go and try to reread it, they really enjoy it. I've heard a few people say that, so I want to try that again. And it wasn't the Dying Earth, like, aspects of it that I didn't like. So I'm gonna go with cool, I guess. Because, like, it's a cool concept. But yeah, anyway. Erotic fantasy. This image, I don't know what the fuck. This was, like, the most PG image I could find. I'm gonna go super not my jam. I just don't have much interest at all. And no shade to anybody. I feel like people always assume that if you say, like, I don't read erotic fantasy, that you're, like, saying you're against it or that you think it's dumb or something. That's not what I'm saying. At all. Like, if that's your shit, fuck yeah, hell yeah. Go to town. Read all of it. Get your smut on. It's just not, I don't know, it just doesn't, like, call to me. This has been my computer background before this castle. Fairy tale fantasy. I do enjoy a fairy tale fantasy. Yeah, but then some of them I don't. Like a retelling, reimagining. So I'll say hell yeah. It depends a lot, like, whether or not I like it on the other aspects of it, but, like, that as a premise, I do tend to grab it. Futuristic fantasy. This obviously can overlap a lot with science fiction, but I'm thinking of a recent one that I read, Who Fears Death, and by Nnedi Okorafor. I did not like that book, but it wasn't because of the world or because of the futuristic stuff about it. So I'm gonna say cool, I guess. Because if I hear a premise that's, like, kind of a futuristic fantasy world, like, that sounds pretty cool. Magical realism and fabulism. I have enjoyed some of this, but in general, that, like, subgenre doesn't call to me. I kind of want to say super not my jam, but, like, I'm thinking now of Echo Brown, her book, Black Girl Unlimited, that I just recently read, that is magical realism memoir, and I really liked that. But I think I liked it so much because of the memoir aspect of it. So I'm gonna go with super not my jam. Military fantasy, super not my fucking jam. If that's the core focus of a book, like, I don't mind if a book has military aspects or, you know, there's an army involved, and, like, a lot of political fantasy will have military aspects involved or scenes where there's, like, a fucking battle or war happening. That's fine. Other stuff too. Arthurian fantasy has that, that I've read. But if that's the core focus of the whole entire story, is like the military. I don't fucking, nope. You guys know what book I'm thinking of, right? Myth fantasy, like mythology. And there is a separate subgenre listed on this website of legend fantasy, but I'm kind of putting these together. Whoops. Oh geez, I'm clicking all the shit. This is definitely not my jam. I'm gonna put this in hell yeah, because I'm super down for that. Oh, we have a kitty eating food. Would I put that in give me all of it? Nah, I'm gonna say hell yeah. Paranormal fantasy, give me all of it. You give me some fucking vampires. Werewolves are cool, I guess, but like they kind of tend to just come with vampires is why I say like werewolves. But yeah, fucking vampires, fallen angels, demons, fae, any of that shit, I'm here fucking for it. So definitely give me all of it. Political fantasy. I'm gonna say hell yeah. It does. Oh man, maybe I'll say cool, I guess, because like fucking Game of Thrones, that's like very much political fantasy, you know, and that's really good. And a lot of kind of high fantasy is political. So yeah, I'm gonna say hell yeah, because as a whole, generally speaking, I do enjoy worlds where like the politics are involved, like the kingdoms and thrones and heirs to the throne and all that shit. I do enjoy that. Portal fantasy. I'm gonna say meh. I haven't read a lot of it, and yeah, it just doesn't really speak to me. I do want to read that series though. Ola was just talking about it, the Alice in Wonderland like reimagining one, and then I also want to read Blade So Black. So I guess it does, but that's like just Alice in Wonderland specifically, which I kind of see almost as like fairy tale fantasy, you know, but it is portal fantasy too. Steampunk. I actually quite enjoy steampunk. I have not read a lot of it though. And I feel like it kind of has to be a combination of something else, because like the Parasol Protectorate series by Gail Carriger, that is steampunk for sure, but it is also paranormal romance, and the tone of it is kind of like a comic fantasy, like it's not that serious. And it's like Victorian fantasy also. So it's a lot of other things. And then like the Aeronaut's Windlass, also steampunk, but also political fantasy and kind of quest fantasy too. So I'm gonna say hell yeah, because yes, steampunk in general. I enjoy the steampunk aspects of those books. I just haven't read a shit ton of steampunk. All right, the last two, I'm looking at them and I already know where they're gonna fucking go. Sword and sorcery, give me all of it. Definitely. And then urban fantasy, I would say give me all of it, because paranormal tends to be urban fantasy, but not always. And just something being urban fantasy in and of itself isn't necessarily like give me all of it. And honestly, like just the urban fantasy aspects, I don't know if I can even say hell yeah. Because yeah, it needs to be a combination of something else. I'm gonna say cool, I guess, for that. Yeah, cool, I guess. All right, I have a lot more like up in the higher kind of ranks than I thought I would. So that's cool. Yeah, not surprised at all about my give me all of it. And I'll do the same thing I did for my Sarah J. Maas characters, where I'm gonna put in order the top tier. Arthurian would not be the top one. That's gonna be number 4. Ooh, an assassin I feel like is kind of a combo with sword and sorcery, you know what I mean? So I guess I'll put that there. But between sword and sorcery and paranormal, man, I kind of want to leave it as is. I think, do I like paranormal? No, I have to put sword and sorcery, because I think, generally speaking, I tend to really enjoy more sword and sorcery than paranormal. Ooh, urban fantasy though, I just realized, like dystopian. Most dystopians fall under urban fantasy, and I do quite enjoy a dystopian. So I'm actually gonna move that up to hell yeah. But yeah, give me all of it. I think it has to be sword and sorcery, paranormal, and then assassin, and then Arthurian fantasy. Yeah, I think that works. Do I want to put political and give me all of it? I think I do, actually. Yeah, because I'm thinking I love like wouldn't like a lost princess or lost heir trope, like that's part of like a political fantasy typically, right? Kind of, in like the maneuverings of like trying to get your throne back and shit. I mean, it can be. Nah, I'm gonna leave it where it is. Okay, there we are. I will have the link for this like tier sheet template, whatever, if you want to do this too, just because, to save you the time of making these little images. Unless you want to just make your own, whatever. Yeah, there we have it. That is my ranking of some fantasy subgenres. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.